It is finally back. Isekai Quartet Season 2, Episode 1 has arrived today. Honestly, this is the one series, truthfully, I have been looking forward to the most from this anime season. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of good stuff that's airing this anime season. There's a lot of good shows that has aired and I still need to make videos on that I've watched just recently. But Isekai Quartet holds a very special place within my heart because, as you all know, I love this type of series. I love series that are about going into an alternate world, seeing how the characters deal with their situation of just being in a whole new reality. It's why I've always been drawn to Re:Zero, Overlord, Rising of the Shield Hero, Tanya, the list goes on, basically, and it's one of the reasons why I really loved the first one, like the first season, and, I was just like, holy crap, all these iconic series that I have reviewed throughout the years coming together in one series and seeing some iconic scenes between these characters talking with each other, how they can maybe discuss their problems. It's just going to lead to so much potential. And Season 2 has finally arrived, and it makes me happy because that does mean that there is some form of popularity, which I expected it at the very least, because, these series that are in this are very popular, and, with Re:Zero about to be getting a new season in the upcoming spring of anime 2020, it kind of makes sense that, they would kind of air this as well, and popularity would be high for it too, because of everything that's been happening in the past couple years. But, yeah, just Isekai Quartet Season 2, it's exciting, and, before I go any further, if you have not watched Isekai Quartet, let me kind of give a brief, it's very brief, don't worry, an explanation of what this is. It's pretty much a mashup of, let's say, Overlord, Re:Zero, Tanya the Evil, and also Konosuba all into one series for the first season, all the characters mashed together, and even though there is obviously some setup throughout the first season for a serious plot, for the most part, it's mainly fan service and just seeing characters interact. With Season 2, it's pretty much added Naofumi, Philo, and Raftalia from, the Rising of the Shield Hero that aired, last year. So that's pretty much what Season 2 is doing. It added a whole new Isekai series into the mix. So there you go. Now, anyways, getting right into it, if there is one thing I am looking forward to, or what I want from this series, there's a couple of things, honestly. One of the big things I want from this season is more, I guess, build up for a plot. And even though I know this is like a Chibi short, it's supposed to be more of on the fun side, which is fine with me. I love this series. I enjoy every single minute of it. I get a good laugh, I smile, etc. I have no problem if it keeps to the way it is right now. But as I've said in the past of my previous episode reviews for Season 1, there's so much potential here for a crazy story they can set up, and I just really hope with Naofumi's introduction into the mix and how maybe the waves can start popping up for the Rising of the Shield Hero within this world, there's a likely possibility that, we could have a serious plot going on. I really hope that happens, because it seems like such wasted potential if they do not do that. And even if, Isekai Quartet, let's say, doesn't go down that route, I would love it if this series did spawn another series that focuses on a serious atmosphere. Now that I would appreciate. So that is one of the big things I hope that this season does. Another thing, I hope we get a Season 3 announcement, because as I've talked about, there's more potential besides just seriousness. You can constantly add in more Isekai series to get a different cast for each season and really mix things up a notch to really give fans something unique every single season of this story. So there is a lot of potential just for that too. So I do hope that, it's not just, the Shield Hero getting added. Maybe we might have, Slime or whatever ever added one day. Like different Isekai basically just thrown into the mix. No game, no life, all that. That's the point. But okay. So, pretty much the whole purpose of this first episode was kind of giving us some fan service with the old cast, obviously, but also properly introducing Naofumi, Philo, and Raftalia within this first episode for the second season, and it's pretty cool, honestly. I do like Naofumi's introduction at the beginning of the episode. I like how he opens the door to the classroom, and he, looks over the class, he sneers, he's like, ugh, and then he just closes the door, and he walks away. It's hilarious hilarious to me because it's very Naofumi-like. He's someone that doesn't like to deal with crap. He doesn't like to deal with, people bugging him, etc. He's a very isolated individual. He doesn't really speak a lot to people he doesn't know. And so because of that, just seeing how he looked at the entire classroom, he sees some weirdos and undead, etc. in there. He's like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this, and probably just close the door and left. And it's just great. But then at the final sequence of the episode, when he comes in to save Philo and Raftalia and everybody else, basically, when he just uses his shield, I appreciate that little fact because it shows how strong his shield is and kind of where it puts his power level against maybe someone like Ainz' group, which that's the first thing I want to talk about. So there's a couple things that's obviously been established from, let's say, the previous season, is that Ainz' group is still probably one of the strongest groups within this story because of, for good reason, when you really know a lot about Overlord. But there is a few individuals that probably could rival some individuals, and even Ainz himself from Overlord. Let's say, like, someone from ReZero's world, or, Subaru's world, basically. Subaru's Witch's Curse, what he has on him, could literally rival maybe Death, etc. throughout this world, and completely, continuously bring Subaru back to life. So, there's a lot of things, like certain magics and stuff that are used that could still be used to overpower other characters and maybe be even stronger than the Overlord cast. And seeing Naofumi come in like he did and actually defend against one of Ainz' subordinates like he did, and he defended a heavy blow, it shows Naofumi's skill. It shows that he's incredibly powerful in terms of defense, which obviously he's the shield hero, and I think it was just a really good introduction for his character, because anyone that knows about Overlord basically will know how strong those characters are. So to see someone like, Naofumi, if you had no idea who the Rising of the Shield Hero is, like Naofumi, come in and defend something like that, you'd be like, whoa, holy crap and all that. But also, it would shock you too to see Naofumi's shields broken like that, and having to put up multiple shields just to defend against the ball coming in. So it also make you say, like, holy crap, these people from Overlord are pretty ridiculous too. So yeah, it's a really nice introduction for Naofumi with this episode in terms of, let's say, where he is stationed in terms of the power grid. Now, other parts to talk about is the Aqua bullying. Obviously, Aqua is always getting kind of mentioned and talked about on a constant within, this airing of Isekai Quartet, how she's a useless goddess, etc. And it's hilarious to me how nobody's actually taking that she is a goddess. Like, they don't believe her, like, you're not a goddess, etc. And the only one that actually believes her is Ainz, because he had to get hit by her blast to believe it, and he almost died thanks to it. So, it shows that Aqua is very powerful, especially when it comes to undead, but nobody believes her, which is just absolutely hilarious. But, that's some of the few scenes. And another great scene is just seeing, let's say, the introduction of, one of our characters, Naofumi, into the first episode, talking with Wilhelm from ReZero. That was a very unique, interesting segment for this first episode of Season 2. Because Wilhelm is one of my favorites, honestly, from ReZero. He's a great character. And seeing Naofumi talk with him, it kind of makes sense. Because when you think about Naofumi's personality, he kind of has this personality where he might be able to interact with older gentlemen over younger people. Because that's just what his personality kind of gives off. And him kind of being around, let's say, someone like Wilhelm, etc. Or, Sebastian from Overlord. It's like, holy crap. He does mingle with them properly. It doesn't feel out of place. So there was some really cool things with that little scene, especially seeing, Sebastian and also Wilhelm talking about how they want to, express their love for whoever they have or who they love. And if you read the light novels, you know who they're talking about. So it's just some great stuff there too. A little fan service for the fans of both series. But that's entirely what, Isekai Quartet is kind of about. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for the first episode. It doesn't really set up, let's say, a serious plot line yet. It was, like I said, mainly just for introducing Naofumi into the cast, which I think is perfectly fine. But now we must wait another week for a new episode, which is gonna suck. The only thing that's my biggest complaint about this series, honestly, is that the episodes are too short. It sucks that it's like only 11 minutes long. I really wish this was given a full-length 20-minute episodes, because it would be fantastic if it was. But, I want to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.